Hey everyone, I am your astrologer Wonder Girl, taking you to new heights. Here is your daily forecast for the day of Thursday, April 5th, 2018. Now what we've got going on today is the moon hanging out right here in Sagittarius, which is going to bring our attention to doing something new we have not done before. Also traveling, perhaps traveling somewhere that we have not been before. Also studying, learning something that you did not currently know, as well as what comes in with Sagittarius, your belief systems, figuring out what it is you believe, trying to make sense of your life, and as well with Sagittarius, it being a fire sign, also ruled by Jupiter, you trying to figure out how to get more excited about your life, be happier, do more of the things that it is that you like, expand your life in a positive way. Okay, so I think that's what we're focusing about with the moon in Sagittarius today. Now, late last night into this morning, we had this moon in Sagittarius and a trine over here to the North Node in Leo. I personally like this. I like it because it's a trine. I also like it because it's the North Node, and I typically do interpret the North Node favorably. So I think what was coming in last night was a chance for us to start to understand better with Sagittarius what makes us happy with the North Node in Leo. I think we are getting a better understanding of what we like, of what's important to us as well. Venus kind of hanging out in the mix over here in Taurus, and I think also helping us to understand what we need to do moving forward to find more of the excitement in life, to feel better, to express our heart more fully. Because the moon is in Sagittarius, maybe also is helping us to figure out what new thing we needed to do in order to be happy, in order to find more of the excitement in life and do what it is that, that needs to be done to help us, okay? So that's what I saw coming in last night into this morning. Then after that happens, today, 6 a.m. Mountain Time, the moon then moves further through Sagittarius and comes into a square over here with Neptune and Pisces. What that could definitely bring up this morning is some confusion in regards to some of the things that we realized, discovered, understood last night with the trine here to the North Node, okay? And I think what happened is last night, maybe we realized some things, got excited about life, about what was going on, about what we needed to do, understood some things, and then now all of a sudden this morning, we're like, okay, wait, what happened again? What does this all mean? What did I really think? Is this really possible? Maybe feeling a little bit uncomfortable with some of the insights that it is that came up, some of the things that were discussed last night. Are just confused about how to use it to your advantage. All right, with the square, really needing to take some time out to yourself to process things intuitively, emotionally, and spiritually, so that you can make sure that you're moving forward in a more holistic way, not just excited about life, not just doing something new, not just thinking about things, but also making sure that it really resonates with you and your spirit more truly before you can move on. All right, and I think that to me is what this square to Neptune is all about. Saying, okay, you can do something new that excites you, that makes you happy, but you just have to figure out how to be more comfortable with it and to make sense of it emotionally. All right, so that's what I see coming in. I don't think that Neptune is always bad, all right? I think Neptune brings great inspiration, great creativity, great insights, all right? But I think that it can, especially by squares, bring confusion, all right? The reason why I think Neptune brings confusion is because the way it works in our mind is so subtle and so unlike the way that we're conditioned by the world to think and to act in the world and to act in society. Society, seems to emphasize, in my opinion, practical matters, physical things. Okay, well, can you see it? Can you feel that? If you can't see it, if you can't feel it, and if you can't touch it, if something's not right in front of your face, then it doesn't exist. That's kind of what I feel like we're conditioned to think in the world, in society, in school. And Neptune is the exact opposite. Neptune says the things you can't see, the things you can't feel, the things you can't touch, they're the things that hold the most importance in life. And that's why Neptune, especially by square, is hard. It's hard for us because we're like, what? Like, this is not the way I'm used to interacting, and now I have to shut off a part of my life that I do every day, every minute of the day. If you want to consider the opposite sign of Neptune, Pisces, as Virgo, I have to shut off that Virgo part of my brain that criticizes, that's critical, that likes to do things practically, and I have to let my mind kind of go to a different place that I don't normally go to. And so that's why Neptune can be hard, because we have to, here at the morning when this is occurring, learn how to shut off our brain and learn how to think differently about our life, to see it differently, to process it spiritually instead of logically and practically, so that we can move forward. Okay, just wanted to clarify that, because I know that there's been some comments about me always talking negatively about Neptune, and I don't think Neptune's negative. All right, I think Neptune can bring a lot of great things. It's just we have to tune our brain into this frequency because we're not always tuned there, and that's what makes it a little bit hard. Okay, and I think that's what we're trying to figure out this morning, is how to tune our brain into the right frequency, so that any of the insights that came up at the end of yesterday, that we can really integrate them into our life holistically, really understand them spiritually, intuitively, on a soulful level, and get the inspiration that we need to move forward. All right, coming in. I do think that if we can do that, it's going to be good, because at the same time the moon comes into this square with Neptune, it's also going to make a trine over to the sun in Aries. And I think even though we may have some confusion about our feelings, about some things that came up, something new that we're doing, how we're making sense of our life, I think if you can allow yourself to process and give yourself the time and space that you need to figure things out, it is going to help you better understand who you are, what you need to do to move forward, to feel better, to put your life in a better place. So I do see a lot of good things coming in if you just aren't afraid to adjust your brain a little bit, to see things in a different perspective, to overcome the past here, to move forward in a more holistic way. All right, and that to me is what today is all about, because after that happens at 6 a.m. Mountain time, the moon does not make any other aspects until tomorrow morning. So I think today is all about processing emotionally, spiritually, internally, holistically, from a holistic mind, body, spirit point of view, what is going on here, and how you can start to feel comfortable with what's happening and get right with it and move on. All right. So that's what I've got there. Now tomorrow, just to give you a little bit of the sneak peek, after this happens tomorrow, the next aspect, 6 a.m. Mountain time tomorrow morning, the moon is then going to come into a trine with Uranus. So if you can process things intuitively today, if you can be patient, if you can take a break from your normal way of thinking about things to maybe try doing things differently, I think it is going to help you here first thing tomorrow morning to again get even more unexpected insights about your life, to feel more authentically yourself, to understand who you really are, what you really want, to break free from some things that are holding you back, to move forward, to get new, crazy, unusual solutions to some of your problems, so that you can start to just feel better about where you're going and to be more yourself. So I do think that even if we're feeling a little confused today, that even if we're not quite sure what's going on, how to make sense spiritually, internally with what is happening and what came up last night, I do think it's going to be great. It's really going to help us if you can just sit with all of this to get some new, profound, unusual insights and solutions tomorrow that are going to be, I like to think, what we need to start to move forward, feeling more ourselves, creating more of the life that we really, really want deep down authentically, and seeing a new life for ourselves, envisioning a new future that I think is just going to be good for us. Okay, so that's what I see going on there. Other stuff happening in the background today is we've got Mercury in a square with Saturn, where it was yesterday, but still a little bit today, and that could definitely bring up some hard conversations with Mercury involved, and Saturn could definitely bring up as well just some hard thoughts with yourself, maybe it being hard for you to find the mental clarity that it is that you want, wanting mental clarity, needing to make decisions but not knowing what decisions to make or how and in what way to think about them. So that could definitely be a thing that was a little bit hard that was coming up yesterday and today, having lots of responsibilities on your list, lots of things to do, but your Mercury mind going retrograde, squaring these planets, not really knowing, okay, how do I do it? Where do I start? How do I tackle these things? You know, how do I make sense of this so that I can have a positive perception of my life instead of a negative one? And I think that's what we've been trying to figure out here with the Mercury square, is how to see your life more positively, and see your responsibilities more positively, and to make the decisions here that you need, and to get the insight and the clarity again that you need to move forward in the right ways based on more of an real understanding of who it is that you are. Okay, so I think that's going on, and I keep saying clarity, understanding, because we've got Mercury making some aspects, Jupiter making the sextile to Pluto, here a moon in Sagittarius. I think with the thing coming into Uranus, the trine to Uranus tomorrow, I think really giving you a good chance to start to understand more and more here what the future holds for you, how you can reach the future, how you can bring a lot of these old things from the past into fruition and do them in a way that finally resonates more with you than it has in the past. All right, and I really do think that's what we're trying to break through. What we're trying to come into here is more of an understanding of yourself, of what you need, of who you are, and of how you can do some of these big things that you're being called to do in a way that resonates with you, in a way that's more authentic to you, in a way that's not so chaotic, and in a way that can start to bring it all together. All right. The sun as well in a trine with the North Node during all of this, really helping you to create plans that can make you happy. And I think that's the hard thing, is trying to figure out, okay, not just how I'm doing something and managing all of these responsibilities, but how I'm happy doing it and authentically myself doing it. And I think all of these things here are really helping you, that's going on, to find more of the clarity, to break through, to understand what it is that you really, really need to bring everything together and to build a life that you really like, that really resonates with you, that's what you really want. Okay? So I think that's what's going on. And now that Mercury is coming to the end of its retrograde, and with the square to Saturn and Mars, I think now is the time that it's finally starting to hit us, some of these things that we've been going through lately, where we're finally starting to realize, okay, yes, this is more and more, even though there could be some hard things with the Saturn square, we're starting to realize, okay, this is what I need, or this is my only option right now, this is what I have to do, and this is how I do things from here on out. All right, so that's what I see there. What else do we have? We also do have Venus in a trine with Saturn as well. I think really helping us to, as we're trying to figure out what makes us happy, commit to what makes us happy, make decisions about things, really helping us to start to build more and more on these things that we decide, on these things that we understand about ourselves that we need. And I think Venus is just waiting, as it moves slowly through Taurus, is just waiting for you to make up your mind, for you to figure out what's going on, for more information to come to you if you're waiting on other people for things, so that you can finally start to take what you've realized, to narrow it down to a few things you like the most, and to finally start to build on them and to make them happen. And I think what's starting to come in at the end of this week is less deliberation about things, less thought, less like deep emotional stuff here, and hopefully more understanding of what you need, more discipline, more dedication, more prioritizing things, so that you can finally take what it is that you have and move forward on it and build on it in a way that actually can help you, instead of getting lost in all of these other questions and delays and things going on. And I think Venus in a trine with Mars and Saturn is actually really meant to help us do what we need. It's meant to help us, but it's just a matter of us clearing up some of this other stuff first in regards to making decisions. Who are we? What do we want? What we need to be happy, okay? And then once we figure all of that out, and once more of the information comes to us there, and we have the hard conversations, then Venus all of a sudden is going to kickstart in and say, okay, now that you had the hard conversations, now that you decided, now that you know what you need to be happy, I'm going to help you hone in, laser focus, especially with Mars and Capricorn, and do that thing that you're now trying to figure out and understand and decide on moving forward, okay? So that's what we've got there. Chiron at 29 degrees could be inflaming some old wounds, some hurt feelings, uncomfortable things going on, but needing to not let those things get you down. We're almost done with Chiron and Pisces, and needing to forge your way still into new territories, new experiences of life, so that things are just different. And I think that's what we're trying to do here, is just blow the lid off our life to come into new ways of thinking and living and understanding, so that we can feel better. All right. So that's what I'm going to leave with you there. Your card for the day is the 8. The 8 of Cups upright. This to me is definitely a card of spirituality. The Neptune square, that's what this is. This to me is a card saying, you know what, sometimes what your spirit says, what you say internally, has more importance than what's going on outside you and then what other people say. And I think what this card says today, listen to your spirit, listen to your soul. If you get some spiritual downloads, okay, that you weren't planning on, that you weren't expecting, that don't make sense, they have messages for you to help you figure out things that maybe you could not figure out before, and to follow those promptings you know, whatever they say, and to try to figure out and coax out of these things that you're feeling what their real meaning is, what the real truth is behind them. And I think if you can pay more attention to what your spirit says instead of what everyone else says, what you think you should be doing, or what else is going on with you, I think it's going to help you to start to make real decisions, the right decisions, based on some things that are really good for you, okay? So that's what I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching my horoscope. If you like it, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and I will talk to you later.